is just an introduction how the iron is one puzzle and how the iron is sharing in the nutrition. It was perhaps many years ago when Danone started the campaign against iron deficiency. And I wondered at that time why Danone is using this weapon. I think this is very important weapon, and we have to know what is the sharpness of this weapon. And here it is. I prefer to say this word. The iron is a maestro and a player. He is doing both things. Iron, I should take it in every point, but of course I not cover everything. And if I'm saying any word about the iron, it will be just an introduction to what will be going on later. So this is my agenda. It's not working. And you know, this is the iron in our earth. This is the iron in our earth. It is all over there. It's not only in human, but it is as well on earth. So it is the power, and we have to obey the power. What it is in our body? What is the contents of iron in our body? This is the content. If we are looking to an adult, it will be like that. And if it is in healthy infant term, it will be like that. So remember, every kilogram of his body is harboring 75 milligrams of iron, and 70% of this is in the hemoglobin. The iron requirement is not all over the same during our life, but at birth it starts by very minimal amount, and this is the amount in the first 6 months. It is 0.27 milligram per day, and then after it will be 11. Know the difference? And for preterm it will be 2 to 4 milligram per kilogram, and in adult life it is, or in 1 to 3 years, it is 7 milligram. So the main part of the requirement is here. The crucial is here. The importance is here. So we have to be alert or aware of this. This is the requirement, and if we know that the very important period of iron is between 7 and 12 months. This is very, very important compared to 1 to 3 years or 3 to 6 years. The important is in 6 to 12 months. So we start weaning by this, and this is very important. The prevalence of iron deficiency is not all over the world the same. Of course, we have in our countries in the Middle East the highest prevalence. In Africa, we have the highest prevalence. Still in America, in Asia, in Europe, but we have the biggest amount of iron deficiency. And here, the red zone. The red zone, not of, you understand what is the red zone, but here for iron deficiency, this is the red zone. And here is the burden of iron deficiency. And it is between 50 to 60% almost in this group of population where the iron is deficient. Iron deficiency is a real problem in our country. And if we get this, we can say that at least 30% of school children in Egypt are iron deficient. And this is one of the common nutritional problems. And 1/3 fail to meet 50% of the recommended requirements. And in Egyptian adolescents, it is 46%. And again, it it's very striking that we can see that the level of iron deficiency is not different between those who are highly socioeconomic and low socioeconomic. The low stratum is about 52 and the high stratum is about 43. So it's not a matter of deficient intake. It is a matter of mal-intake or misuse, or the way they are taking, which is the bioavailability. This is the number, and this is the number, and it's totally different. Excuse me, I take some water. So what do you think the difference between them? The high stratum already receiving enough, but they're still having this kind of iron deficiency. Why? We'll see about all this in the mechanism, in the absorption, in the distribution of iron, and how the distribution is affected. And there is one only way to understand that what is going in the body is exactly the same of what is out of the body. This is in the body, jejunum, about 1 to 2 milligram, and what is excreted or lost is exactly the same. So we have either deficiency of the intake, or there is something ongoing in this absorption, or there is excessive loss from the other hand. So we have three ways of deficiency. If you are not taking enough, perhaps because not enough meat, perhaps because we are not taking iron at all, or we have to lose some blood in stool, in urine, or whatsoever. That's why the iron deficiency will be there. The iron absorption is really a puzzle and a very good way to understand why sometimes iron deficiency occurs without even the deficiency in the intake. Number one, the iron is either heme or non-heme, and if it is non-heme, it should be like ferrous and not ferric. It should be in acidic medium, not in alkaline medium. It should be going through dimethyl transporter, and there is someone else competing for this. Dimethyl transporter is the transporter of other metals like calcium, and they compete with each other. If anyone is bigger than the other, it will fight for the push inside. So the dimethyl transporter is the same for calcium and for iron as well. And then after it goes through the ferroportin, and the ferroportin goes to the transferrin, and the transferrin goes back to the liver and prevent the absorption by increasing the hepcidin, and this hepcidin blocks the door in front of the iron to go through. And in all this way, if I'm having something to hinder the absorption of the iron, just here, like that, it will be, for example, like aluminium. You remember the foil you are wrapping in, if you are excessively using this, it will prevent the absorption of iron. If you are remembering, if you are giving the iron with excess milk, which is always the condition when I'm giving iron, please give this with milk. This will prevent the absorption of iron. So it's very important in this point that the iron should not be given with these things. Number three here is this part, which is the phytate, the tannate, and the antacids. Remember, the iron should be, for example, naked to go in through the dimethyl transporter. If you are wrapping this in a way by cellophane or whatever you are wrapping, you will prevent the absorption. This is exactly what happened with the phytate. If you are covering the iron with the phytate, with the oxalate, or anything that is covering the iron, it will not be absorbed. This is the answer of the spinach. Many people think that the spinach is very very important as iron source. Now remember, the spinach is wrapped in phytate, in oxalate, it prevents its absorption. Beans is not a very good source of iron because it is wrapped. And if sometimes you want to increase the bioavailability of these things, you have to remove the wrap, like phytate, you have to peel it, you have to add acids to change the ferrous into ferric, and to avoid giving milk at the same time, and to avoid to give anything like tannic acid, like tea, at the same time. This is very important for the cause of iron deficiency in our country. And here is the illustration of the bioavailability. Whenever it is in the ferric state, it will not be absorbed. Whenever there is phytate, phosphate, tannate, there will be no absorption. On the other hand, vitamin C, meat, and gastric HCl will be better. The breast milk is readily absorbed than the cow milk. Why? The breast milk is acidic. The iron is ferrous. It is low. It is already low in amount, but still it is readily bioavailable. And here the bioavailability. The iron bioavailability is high in meat and less in cereals, fruit, and milk. And at the same time, the food taken by the infants is higher bioavailability, is 10 to 15% of the intake, while on the other hand, the lower bioavailability is most of the intake. So the iron deficiency is not because of only the deficient iron, but low bioavailable iron. Of course, you are all aware of this, the causes of iron deficiency, starting by the decreased intake, increased loss, malabsorption, cow milk, allergy, and less bioavailability. In our country, because I was asked about the iron status in our countries, remember every time in our country it is not only the hookworm, like parasitic infestation, it is not only the undernutrition, they are not taken enough, but the habit of the mother, she should follow the meal with tea. Always drink tea after or drink coffee after. This makes you more alert. This makes the baby more alert. This is the tradition. She's always doing this. She prefers always to give more diluted, juicy drinks for the babies to calm the baby. And this is deficient in iron. This is not only the way of calming, but it is of depriving the baby. And the excessive loss is very, very important. It goes because I told you what is going in, it should be exactly like what is going out. And here is the causes of excessive blood loss. Excessive blood loss may be just cow milk allergy. And I have with me my dear professor, Mustafa. And he found a lot of cases we just call it to be cow milk allergy. If they are losing enough blood in their stool, they will be iron deficient. And on the other hand, celiac disease. 15% of iron deficiency anemia, we followed them and found many of them had celiac disease. So the celiac disease may be not a celiac only, but like iron deficiency anemia. Bleeding disorders or parasitic infestation may be other concern. And here is the allergy, celiac, parasitic, and bleeding. The impact of iron. Why we are so much caring about iron? Why iron is very important? Is it that magic in our life? Yes, it is. It's not only in your blood. It's not only in your muscle. It is in your heart. It is in your brain. It is in your immunity. So it should be all over. And And this is the player. He is in your muscles, he is in your blood, but still it is in your heart as myoglobin and a maestro. All the functions. It's not only included in the hemoglobin, but it plays and maestro, orchestrates, organize everything related to oxidative energy production, oxygen transport, mitochondrial respiration, inactivation of harmful oxygen, and DNA synthesis. This is your brain. And that's why I appreciate what Danone has done for iron to be in the morning. You had enough breakfast, you had enough iron, you are alert enough, so your brain is working. Your brain is working in the morning. It has many effects on the brain, like dopaminergic effect, DNA synthesis, neurotransmitter, lipid metabolism, and neuronal differentiation. Everything going in the brain, it is important for it, the eye. Micronutrients, immunity are very important again, and the iron is one as a maestro for immune modulation. That's why in the mitochondria, the oxidative effect, respiratory birth in the mitochondria is important, the iron is important for it. And here I call it the maestro. Antioxidant. How many radicals are going through my body and harming my body, and the effect of this is cancer, and how many I can block this by many enzymatic changes. It is the iron responsible for this. So the iron is already preventive for infection and preventive for malignancy. And here I have a case, what I call it, everyday story. How many of you are clinicians? Raise your hand. How many of you can see this case? How frequent? Every day. I challenge you every day that you see the same case. This is everyday story about a 10-month-old baby presenting with pallor, lassitude, repeated infection. The mother coming, tell me what is wrong about this immunity, why he is so much bad, why he is every day getting this kind of infection. By medical history, you ask the mother, and you got the answer like this. This is normally delivered infant with uneventful postnatal history. He was exclusively breastfed, but until the age of 4 months, my mom said, you have to wean your infant. He is too old. He has to take something. So she started by the smooth thing. You have the smoothest is yogurt. Always the mother preferred the yogurt because it's very quick, very smooth, and you can do it very easily. So she started by yogurt. Why not some biscuits here? Why not? Why not with the juicy sweet? It gives him energy. Why not? You give juice. Yes, this is okay. And a little bit of diluted cow milk because you are too tired. You will not give him all the time your breast. This is very bad. You have to give some replacement with milk, but the milk is heavy. So you have to dilute it a little bit. So she starts to dilute. What happened to the baby? The infant started complaining of attacks of colic. He's colicky all the time. So the mother is so much offended, and she responded by giving tea. Yes, this is calming, and you can give tea. This is the mom, she's saying. And decreasing the extra feeds a little bit, and more dilution of cow milk, perhaps it's very, very heavy, as she said, and you have to dilute it more. This is everyday story. When you see this case, and the picture is like this, he's attentive, he's alert, but he doesn't want to look at you. He doesn't want to have any stimulation. And he is a little bit pale, but no other complexion. He doesn't have jaundice or something like that. Respiratory, there is respiratory infection because she's coming with infection. And fever, running nose, cough, no organomegaly. It's not a case of anemia with organomegaly, it's simple anemia. And no dark stools, no blood loss. And the tongue looked like that, glazed. She is always saying that he has mononucleosis, but he has glazed tongue. No. And the nails, as if you are cutting his nails. No, it's shortly cut like this. This is the typical example of what you see for iron deficiency at that time. When you make the investigations, you will get the case. The hemoglobin low, RDW is high, MCV is low, MCH is low, white blood count a little bit high, and platelet again is high, which is the counterpart of the hemoglobin. Remember, the hemoglobin is low, the platelet is up, and all the time the mother is coming, why the platelet is so high? He is getting thrombosis? No, he's not, because this is the window, this is the mirror of the hemoglobin. The hemoglobin is low and the platelet is always up, it's stimulated. And then you continue by doing iron, total iron binding capacity and serum ferritin, and you got iron low, iron binding capacity high, and serum ferritin is low. And I was arguing yesterday with Professor Ziegler on relying only on ferritin. If it is low, it's okay, but if it is not low, this is not against. And you have to make the equation between iron and total iron binding capacity to get what we call transferrin saturation, to be sure that this is iron deficiency, as the picture like this. And this is what I'm saying. You are not doing only the ferritin or total iron binding capacity alone, but you are doing the whole. The iron saturation or transferrin saturation is the index between the iron and iron binding capacity. It should be less than 5. Many cases, if they don't have less than 5, between 5 and 20, this is okay, but after 20, this is never iron deficiency. And remember, every time you are doing iron assay, you should stop iron 24 hours before. You should not give iron today and by night you assay the iron. You should stop it all over. If you are doing this, you are assaying what you are giving to the baby. So you have to stop it. Then this baby proved to be anemic, iron deficiency, and he is getting enough iron, 2 milligrams per kilo per day with folic acid, and 1 month to treat, but you continue for 3 months to replenish the stores. Remember, the ferritin is very low, so you have to fill this store with the iron. What went wrong in this infant? This is the story. What went wrong from our point of view? Is it early weaning? 4 months? It is. Replacement of breast milk, which is the gift of God, and we are replacing by junk. Early introduction of cow milk. Use of diluted iron, but no use of iron-rich food. Use of juicy food and use of tea. Here is the puzzle of iron and milk. And again, the breast milk is low in iron and cow milk is low in iron. But the breast milk is very important to be low in iron. And I every day emphasize this. It should be low in iron. For 2 reasons. 1, the baby already has his iron requirement in his liver, so it is contained in himself. And number 2, to keep lactoferrin always hungry, to keep it devoid of iron. If I am giving iron, I'm satisfying lactoferrin, it will be never ready to get the microbial invasion. It will not give anything for the immunity. It should be always get hungry. So the iron in breast milk should be always low. But on the other hand, it is acidic because of lactobacillus. It is readily absorbed. It should be like this. So it is more readily available. This is against the cow milk. Low iron, exactly like this of breast milk, but no lactoferrin. It is alkaline. Remember what we know about milk alkali syndrome. You remember this? Excessive intake of milk in adults. This is alkaline, medium. It is lactobacillus free. It's not with lactobacillus. No acidification, so it is less bioavailable. And the average human milk in such instances, it is 0.35 milligram per liter. And if you remember that what I need in this period is very limited in the first 6 months. So why not cow milk? Because low iron, low content, alkaline, less bioavailability, more diluted, so it's lower content, and again sometimes it is the cause of cow milk allergy. And in the first 6 months, this is okay for breast milk. But should I continue after the 6 months with breast milk alone? Should I? Here is the answer. Breast milk is not enough. But again, the cow milk is not good. So why the breast milk is not enough? This is what has been said by Professor Ziegler. There is something like energy gap. There is something like increased requirement after the age of 6 months and 1 year. The breast milk is enough to suffice. It is not enough, it's not sufficient to give this amount to the baby. If you are giving only cow milk, you are just giving 31% of energy and protein 38%, vitamin A 45%, and maybe vitamin C. It is enough. Maybe Professor Beer will answer this, but still it is not sufficient. Don't stop it, but it's not enough. You should give something else. And here, if you are giving iron by breast milk and by formula fed, the breast milk is not enough for the first day. But in formula fed, it might be sufficient in the next following months. The best iron. What is the best iron? Remember the bioavailability. It's not the best iron to give spinach. This one is claiming that is enough. I don't know if the picture there is, you can see it. This is one muscle man holding a spinach can and saying, I'm strong enough. No, this is wrong, of course, because he is weak. He's not that much. He's not that powerful. He seems as if he has something, but he's very weak. And here is the lean stick is the best, and the chicken next, and the whole meat bread, and boiled fish. Cooked spinach is only 2%. So don't ever be deceived by giving just vegetable, and this is enough. It's not enough. There is something around, there is cellophane around, and remember this picture. It's not the matter I'm wearing the shoes, but it suits me or not. Spinach is not suitable. And again, this kind of milk is not suitable. And iron should not be given with alkaline medium. Remember the transporter, the dimethyl transporter, like two guys going through some port. One is big, fatty, and one is tiny. Who's going to go inside? Who is going for the age of 1 year? Use iron-rich food, grading from vegetables, perhaps fresh fruits, cereals, and meat. I don't know if the meat now gains the same success or not, but it's still there. And the iron medicine is needed. If needed, avoid calcium intake as milk, and add vitamin C as fresh juice or medicinal, and don't give sweetened juice or tea. And here in Egypt, we have a program which is the Egypt Adolescent Anemia Prevention Program by Ministry